So for the first game of this episode, we're going to talk about Lotus.
Designed by Jordan Goddard and Mandy Goddard. Artist is Anita Osburn and Chris Ostrowski, and it's published by Renegade Games.
Cool. So Lotus is a card game where you're building flowers. Each card that you play makes up a petal of this flower. There are 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 petal flowers. And so basically the 7 needs 7 cards of the exact same thing to make up a flower. And when you place them out there, you place them kind of at an offset, so it ends up it actually makes a whole flower.
Kind of like a flower. Yep.
Yeah. And the idea is if you are if you're the person who puts the last petal in the flower, you'll collect all those cards. But each card, each player has their own deck of cards, and then there's like a wildflower card deck in the middle that you can draft cards out of. And when you're playing cards into a flower petal, or when you're playing petals into a flower, they have your little symbol of your guardian, essentially your color. And you're either going to have 1 of your symbol or 2 of your symbol. The wildflowers do not have any, but you can play multiple cards on your turn, so you might use those to complete flowers and such. And when you complete a flower, whoever has the most guardian symbols there actually gets a special reward, such as 1 of the 3 special abilities that you can collect, or simply 5 victory points. Otherwise, the petals are worth 1 point apiece. So it's really, that's the kind of thing, like you want to complete the 7 petal thing, so you get 7 victory points. Do you want to trade, or do you want to get it, whatever. Basically, the game is super simple. You have, how many actions do you have? You have 2 actions.
Yeah, 2 actions.
Yeah, 2 actions on your turn, and there's only like a couple of different actions that you can do. One action is to place petals into a flower, and basically you can place 1 or 2 of the same petal into a flower. If there is no flower of that type, so we'll say for instance the 5 petal flower, you could start the new one, but there can only be 1 of each type on the board. And when I say board, you're literally just playing them anywhere on the table. You can use the entire tabletop. You don't have to, put them in a specific order, things like that. It's kind of I want to emphasize that because it's going to be one of my positive points. Spoiler alert. Anyway, you can place 1 or 2 petals into a flower. You can do it multiple times if you want. A second action is you can take 1 or 2 cards. Is it 2 or just 1? I don't remember. I think it's
I
up
think
to
it's
2.
Just 1 card from the middle.
No, well, I'm talking about you can cycle cards to the bottom of your deck and then draw. I think you do up to 2. And then you can put 1 of your guardians out into a flower that's already began. And I believe that's it. Because at the end of your turn, you draw back up to 4.
Gotcha.
And you can draw from either your deck, or you can draw from the wildflowers that are out in the middle. And so it has a deck, but then it has 4 cards on display at all time.
Right.
And you can draw those and such. And so past that, that's pretty much the game. The game is going to end when somebody runs out of their cards, basically, or at least triggers the end of the game. And then whoever has the most points wins. The special abilities, there's only 3 of them. 1 gives you a 5 card hand size instead of 4. 1 will give you a silver guardian of your color. The guardians are actually like little meeples of different bugs. So like, for instance, the red player I think is ladybugs, and the blue player is like dragonflies. Green player is what? Caterpillars.
Right.
Yep.
Weird looking caterpillars.
Well, anyway, so you get a silver guardian. It's worth 2 points of control when it's in a flower. And the third ability is that when you play the place petal action, you can actually place pretty much 3 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. So you play until somebody runs out of cards. It triggers the end of the game. And then whoever has the most points, and like I said, the points are going to become from each petal that you've collected. And on top of that, if you triggered a special ability win for having the most guardians in a petal or a flower, then you get to choose the 5 points or one of those special abilities. You can only do each one of those special abilities once. So once you get the 3 special abilities, you're always getting points from then on out. But you can skip those. And I've seen it where people don't have all 3 of them and still win.
Oh, yeah.
So, Matt, did you check this out?
I did not get a chance to look at this one. I was just looking at pictures. I do like the little the bugs.
Yeah, the little bugs are cool.
The dragonflies and stuff.
Yeah.
Those were neat. And
those are what I was talking about, the guardians.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the game just looks, very pretty.
Super gorgeous.
The box art is awesome looking. So. And I do remember at Origins, I think they were giving out actual Lotus seeds. Is that right? Do y'all remember
Yeah.
that?
Right.
Yeah,
It
so-
was like it was at Gen Con one year, and yeah, you take it home, you plant that seed, and when it sprouts, that's about the time it's
Yeah.
gonna release.
Yeah. That was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I still have those.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I don't know if they work.
Seeds last quite a long time, so they
Yeah.
probably still will do its job.
Side note, did you know there is like a vault, like a seed vault that's up in like
Yes.
Antarctica or something, or
Oh.
North Pole, or I don't know where it's at, or Iceland. It might be Iceland. I'm making stuff up.
Okay,
It's
somewhere.
in snow,
All right.
and it's like this massive vault. It looks crazy. Have you seen it?
No. But-
It looks like a dungeon that I want to go into in Skyrim. Like just looking at it
Yeah.
from the outside, it's like
In a big mountainside.
it's like a big
somewhere.
mountainside. It's all white snow, but it's like this black, just monolith of an entrance. It's crazy looking. But they want to preserve like every seed ever.
Yeah.
So all countries will deliver seeds to this thing.
That's cool.
They're like, Anyway, yeah, I like the fact that the art is like really, it's vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
The flower idea is really cool. It just looks neat on the tabletop.
Right.
I feel like we need this game for the O'Shea's
Yeah.
boards
I
and
think
bites thing, because
it's pretty simple, it's easy to teach, it's pretty light, almost filler level, I guess.
yeah,
Or if not, it's a filler, I suppose.
I mean it's like 30 minutes
right.
with 4 players,
So
but
it's not that long. Very easy to teach, and looks nice on the table, so it has a good presentation.
yeah, good appeal. People are gonna walk by and, hey, what's that?
Yeah, I get interested in it.
Yeah.
I will say, for how it looks, it is a little bit more ruthless than you first think something like this would be, because you are, you're vying for getting the control over it by putting down your symbols, or your your caterpillar or your butterfly. Also, you're trying to be the last one to complete it to get all the points for it. So
Yeah, and this could like
it's
the level,
competitive.
right? It's competitive. The level of strategy is actually pretty deep, because if you're good at not really card counting, but remembering what people have played,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if you're allowed to like go through their pedals at all. I would say probably not,
Yeah.
but like because like you don't know, for instance, if Eric's played all his 5s, and so if Eric hasn't played all his 5s, and I know you are going Matt, or say Matt played all his 5s. I think Eric's going to play into the 5 and complete it. Oh, I don't even know what I'm saying now. My point is, you might gamble at the fact that somebody else, or maybe both the other players, can't complete it. Because maybe you might can complete it, Matt, but doesn't matter if you complete it, because you won't have enough Guardians to win the control.
Mm-hmm.
But Eric, I know, hasn't played his 2 Guardian of the blue or whatever, or the number 5. And I don't know. It has a little bit of gambling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Too much Monster Hunter, man. I'm like so tired I can't even like articulate what I want to say. But you see what I'm saying.
Well, also, like, if there's only, 1 or 2 cards that, can finish out to 7, you can gamble and pick one of the wildflowers that are, a 7 petal from the middle, or, you can gamble it and see if you can pick it out your own deck. So
Right.
there's a bit of luck factor in everything like that.
And that's what I was kind of getting at, is the fact that remembering what people have spent out of their own deck
Yeah.
and what they've played. Because if they played all their 4s early on, and then now you're starting to do a 4 collection, or started a flower out in the middle of the table, that player can't contribute a lot, so they're going to ignore it. So
Mhm.
then you only have to really focus on like 2 other players. That's what I was kind of saying, is that level of strategy, if you can remember what everyone's been playing.
Which would be hard, but yeah.
Yeah, at least.
I bet some people do so.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the competitive level starts off casual, but as you play it a lot, I can see like levels of this game unlocking
Yeah.
as far as the strategy goes. I would say at least at first you just try not to give people points. And then the second thing you try to learn is when people have played their 2 Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
Not Guardian, but the 2-point control thing of each color that they start with.
Right.
Which ones they've played already. So, yeah. Anyway, I really like this game. We played it at Lexicon, I think last year, like 2016,
I wasn't there, but
17.
Yeah, it was my first time when we played here last week.
Yeah.
But you played it.
Well, you were there. You're just doing something else.
I was.
You were doing the Pandemic Legacy thing.
Yeah. I was at the place, but not
at the game.
At the game,
Yeah.
right.
Or you were teaching. Did you teach something?
I was teaching Pandemic.
That's what it was. Yeah, and then we played this. It was I think it was the year it was released. So I believe what year did you say, Matt?
I didn't say a year.
Oh,
I believe it was like 2016,
yeah,
if not 15.
because I think it was a free to play, and it's usually like newer releases.
Mhm.
So, point is, I played it. I really wanted it.
16.
I put into every math trade since then. So 2016, 17, and 18, and I finally got it in a math trade. I could have just literally bought this game,
Right.
but I got it, and it was Shrink. I was awesome. I'm excited.
Nice.
So yeah, really good game. I highly recommend it. Anything else you want to say?
No, very pretty. I recommend it as well.
All right, if you like pretty flower games with cutthroat action, check out Lotus.